Hi, I'm Lana Ballard, and today I will be talking about the Tulsa, Oklahoma Massacre. The Tulsa, Oklahoma Massacre took place from May 31st, 1921 to June 1st, 1921. The massacre was also known as Black Wall Street due to the wealth of an all-black community known as the Greenwood District. The massacre began after 19-year-old Dick Rowland, a black shoe shiner, was accused of attempted sexual assault of Sarah Page, a 17-year-old white elevator operator in the nearby Drexel building. He was later taken into custody that day on May 30th. Word of the attempted rape had gotten out to much of the town the next day, causing many white people to grow restless. There was talk of lynching on the streets of Tulsa that evening on May 31st. Although historians don't know precisely what happened in the Drexel building on the 30th, it is reported that Rowland stepped on Page's foot as he entered the elevator, causing her to scream. By 7:30 p.m. on May 31st, a mob of white people gathered outside of the courthouse, demanding for Rowland to be handed over, but authorities refused, barricading the top floor to protect Rowland. When nightfall came, a group of around 25 to 75 black men at 9 p.m. went to the courthouse to help, though the sheriff refused their assistance. Later the night of May 31st, a group of black men were met by 1,500 white men, some of who were armed. Over the next several hours, groups of white Tulsans committed a vast amount of violent acts against black people, one of them being the unarmed man being shot in the movie theater. On the morning of June 1st, thousands of white citizens poured into the Greenwood District, burning and looting over 35 city blocks. There were reportedly over 300 casualties, along with 800 more injured and 10,000 left homeless. Over 6,000 black people were reported to be under arrest by the Oklahoma National Guard at local fairgrounds, while being detained in internment camps. The aftermath was so severe that it had been named one of the deadliest riots in history, as there was a deliberate effort to cover the events up. None of the white people were charged with rioting or looting, while all the black people were. The bodies of all the dead black people were being hastily placed in unmarked graves. The event was never published in the Tulsa, Oklahoma newspaper as a means of trying to pretend none of it ever happened, although several major newspapers immediately covered the events of the tragedy, including the New York Times, Tulsa World, and the Times of London. For decades, the subject of the massacre was never taught in schools or included in history books in most newspapers. Most of the country hadn't even heard of the massacre until the 1990s, when it was just starting to come to light. The event is and will always be remembered as one of the most terroristic attacks on black people in U.S. history. In fact, it was such an important period of black history that it was commemorated for its 100-year anniversary upon last year, along with a centennial dedicated to the event that was created in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1996. This has been my presentation on the Tulsa Race Massacre, and I hope that I've enlightened you for the better.